Welcome to the Liberal Informer. Yes, I'm your host today. And today we are talking about what happened to Dr. Miguna. And we're going to analyze this tweet that he just tweeted yesterday on 19th of May, 8:52 p.m. at night. And this was the quote. Dr. William Ruto is going to perform better than Mwai Kibaki did in 2002 when Daniel Arap Moi still had remnants of Rift Valley voters who helped the drunkard Uhuru Kenyatta get some votes. On August 9th, only a few confused Luos will vote for conman Raila Odinga. Yeah, so I know this has been a tweet that has been going around, and if you've been active in Twitter in the past few days, you might have come across this tweet, and it's a tweet that I could not let go like this, guys. I just had to respond to this. And okay, first and foremost, I was making a joke with somebody yesterday that no wonder this is the reason why Miguna is still in Canada. When I was just seeing this tweet, like there's a friend of mine that I showed this tweet. After I'd made the decision to go and do this tweet, I shared this tweet with somebody. The second person I shared it with after I shared it with my wife. And this person, we were making a joke. And I told them about, this tweet. And the person was telling me that, okay, it was on a lighter note that no wonder Miguna is still out there. Anyway, personally, I've been going through Miguna's tweets. And for lack of a better word, guys, this guy, I don't know what has happened to him, but this guy has really changed. I used to know this guy. I used to admire him so much, by the way. And I'm not saying that I no longer admire him considering the things that he has achieved as an individual. But if forever he tweets anything to go by, guys, this is the one of the few people who really deserve my respect. The fact that you have achieved so much doesn't mean that you always deserve people's respect, because they say that it takes many blocks to build a house and it just takes the destruction of one to bring the whole house down. So you might have built a very good reputation, but you can easily destroy it with just one action, you see. And like for instance, now, like as we break down this tweet by Miguna, okay, fine. Honestly, personally, there's one thing that I don't usually like, and for the lack of a better word, the people who don't stand by their words. Personally, and this is something that I've noticed is very common in Kenya right now. The people we are supposed to call our leaders have no conscience when it comes to decisions that they make. You see, like personally, I believe that a leader, one definition of a good leader is one person who makes decisions really fast and they take a long time to change those decisions, you see. But in Kenya, I find that our leaders are just people who change their minds just any time until you don't know when somebody is serious and when somebody is joking, because they will sign deals with the people and they'll even come in public and make very huge pronouncements. Then 2 days later, you hear them saying that, whatever we said last time wasn't right and now we are saying this. And this we've seen with the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka, we've seen the likes of Mtua, we've seen the likes of William Ruto. And like I can give you a very long list of people who say this today and tomorrow they say something very, very, very different. Like I remember there was this time, a good example is Mudavadi was talking about how good BBI was. That was the time when he was rubbing shoulder with the president. Then immediately he joined the Kenya Kwanza coalition. He immediately started talking of how bad BBI was, how badly formed it was, how bad an information it was to the people. And I was like, wow, can somebody really change so fast? You see, and can somebody can somebody really lack a conscience this much? Because honestly, guys, it's okay to change sides, because in politics we know there are no like permanent enemies and permanent friends. But it's also something very different altogether to change your ideologies, as like if at all these people have ideologies, which obviously it shows they don't, considering the fact that they say this today and they say something else tomorrow. I remember the second example is somebody like Kalonzo Musyoka. I heard him the other day. Like there's a time he was talking about how he will be caught dead and you'll be the most stupid person on earth supporting Raila Odinga. Then a few months later down the line, he was there standing on the podium saying on how much he was going to support Raila Odinga unconditionally. Then Week or so later, he was again on the podium giving conditions and saying he had to be given the vice president. Makui just said a few weeks before that he was supporting this man unconditionally. Then after that, Raila says that he's going to interview whoever is going to be his running mate. Then Kalonzo says that if that's what's going to happen, I'm not going to appear for that because that is demeaning the stature of the person that I am. You see, which I don't really agree with. Then comes the day of interviews, then you see the guy appearing there and he's saying that I am appearing here because I didn't want to give these guys an excuse. Then I'm like, bro, didn't you just say you are never going to appear for this stuff? Now you're appearing for it. And then after that, he's not picked, of course, as the running mate to Raila. Then he jumps ship, he leaves the Azimio, which shows you dearly, like, this guy was never in Azimio because of what Azimio stands for, but he was in Azimio for whatever he was going to get out of Azimio, which is crazy to believe that those are the type of leaders we have, by the way, because okay, fine, it's okay to look for leadership, it's okay to look for positions, but it's a very terrible idea if that's the only thing that controls the information you make and your decisions as far as your leadership decisions are concerned. That is super crazy, man. So anyway, getting back to the tweet by Dr. Miguna, on the first line, I'm just going to start by saying that he says that Dr. William Ruto is going to perform better than Moi Kibaki in 2002 when Daniel Arap Moi still had remnants of Rift Valley votes. Anyway, I agree with the fact that okay, right now Ruto has more following in Rift Valley compared to the following that Moi had when he was just about to leave in 2002, and that is always very normal, by the way. When a president is about to leave, he's always the weak. He's always very unpopular. Like in his last time, every president is usually very, very unpopular. In fact, President Uhuru Kenyatta has been the most popular president on his last term, if you ask me, because like, presidents usually are very, very unpopular because people tend to look towards the person who is going to vie next. That's where the glamour and the extravaganza all is at, because people are looking at the next leaders and the new change, and in every election people are always talking about the new change, which I don't usually agree with. I usually believe that after every election it's always just a little bit of continuation of the previous governments. But anyway, putting that aside, it's true that I agree with Miguna here when he says that Ruto right now has more following in Rift Valley than Daniel Arap Moi when in 2002, which is very true. And then he says also that Ruto is going to perform, assuming that he has already assumed that Ruto is going to win, which I stand to be convinced that Ruto has the numbers to win the elections in 2022. But let's say that he has the numbers. According to Miguna, he believes that Ruto is going to perform better than Kibaki, who Ruto just said the other day that is the best president that Kenya ever had, which according to me, I don't think it's true. I think checking at the statistics and development projects that we have in this country right now, it will take so much to convince me that even Uhuru has performed less than Moi Kibaki. As far as I'm concerned, Uhuru has really performed well. In fact, they've performed at par with Kibaki, especially on his last term. This guy has done so much as far as infrastructure is concerned, and leadership and also the independence of judiciary. And you know, we are in the first time in our country where the president really listens to the court, and even though he disagrees with the court very many times, but the court has some kind of independence that we never used to have during Kibaki time. So if you ask me, like right now, Uhuru and Kibaki have performed almost the same, if not better than Kibaki. And I think Kibaki was so much celebrated because he was coming just from a previously very corrupt and a backward type of rule by Daniel Arap Moi. And the same, if you look at Uhuru, if you ask me, he's performed better than Kibaki. I think Kenya, we are generally going forward, and that's why I will ask people also, when you are voting this time around, you look for people who are going to vote in the right way. You vote for people who are going to continue of the same, you see, and going to make Kenya move forward, because we've moved so forward for us to go back to 202 or 90s, you see. So anyway, that one aside, after dissecting this, I just say that I agree with the Miguna on this tweet about the fact that Ruto has more votes in Rift Valley compared to To Moi, who was not vying, of course, so there's no comparison there. You cannot compare somebody who's living and somebody who's just about to be the president. So that's a very lame type of argument, which anyway, I'll make it pass. Then the next line he says that the drunkard Uhuru Kenyatta gets some votes. Wow. He called Uhuru drunkard. So I usually have an issue with people call themselves leaders and they call other people names. I don't know why he needed to do that in that line. So that one is something that doesn't make sense for me. Those are the things that make me just disagree with Miguna. I don't know why he has to call President Uhuru that, because at least some kind of respect is good. I can see when he talks about William Ruto, he calls him doctor, but now when it comes to President Uhuru, he calls him drunkard. That is some level of wow. Anyway, on August 9th, only a few confused Luos, wow, will vote for conman wow, Raila Odinga. Anyway, this guy Miguna is just is wrong. It's just wrong. It's not good to do this. It's just not good to. There's a way in which you can pass your message, but you don't need to add all these around. Anyway, he's saying that the only people who are going to vote for Raila are few confused Luos. And I know very many Luos who have confessed that they're going to vote for Raila, and I don't think they're confused. They're very, very respected members of this society, the likes of James Orengo and Otiende Amolo. You see, and when you call such people confused, I'm like, wow. Anyway, then I don't know why he has to be tribal about it. I know politics is very tribal, but it's very unnecessary in this situation. Of course, we know that I agree with him that Luos are going to vote for Raila, but I don't think they're confused because 90% of them are going to vote for Raila. So I don't know if it means that 90% of Luos are confused. And Makio, this guy is a Luo, by the way. So maybe he's talking also about his family members are confused, because I believe majority of immediate family members of Miguna are going to vote for Raila, because at least they believe that when Raila becomes president, Miguna might come back, which is crazy. Anyway, that's all I can say about this tweet. This is a crazy tweet. This is a stupid tweet for me. I will. This is not a tweet I will retweet. This is not a tweet I will like, and I don't think it passes any message. And yeah. And as far as Miguna coming back to the country is concerned, I can just say that I pray that he comes back, because he is. I don't agree with many things he's saying, but I agree with the fact that he's supposed to come back to Kenya, because he belongs. This is where he belongs. He was born here, even if he has turned out to be the person he has turned out to be. I used to support him so much, by the way, guys. I used to be. In fact, I voted for Miguna for governor of Nairobi. But now, the person he has turned out to be, I don't know, somebody told him that Trump style works on Twitter. You insult people around, that will make you popular. But anyway, that's what's up. Let me see you on the next one. This is the Liberal Informer.